Alright, so it's gonna be about 96 degrees today, and right now it's already pretty hot, and it's only a little after 9 a.m. So I better get mowing the lawn now. So I'm in pretty sunny weather, and this video probably looks really blown out. The highlights are probably just skyrocketed. But that's what this video is going to be about today. Let's pop an ND filter on and see how it looks. So this is with an ND8 from Freewell, and I can't really tell because it's so bright out here, but I think it made it a lot better. I don't think the highlights are quite as blown out now, but just for fun, let's throw the next one on. Alright, so now we're going to put on, this is the ND16. Alright, I think that looks good. I can't really tell, but we will find out in post. But on to the next. Now we're gonna throw on, this is the ND32. And just so you guys know, if you're following the 180 degree rule with these filters, that's when you double your shutter speed to get like more cinematic look. This is the 64. You are going to want to take Rocksteady off. It's so dark I can't really tell. But let's go back to the 8 just so I can film this part of the video for you guys. So yeah, you want to take Rocksteady off because what Rocksteady does is it stabilizes your images by using the shutter speed to get that frame by frame. It stitches it together to give you that really smooth, steady imaging. So Rocksteady is off right now. I have the ND8 on, and the sun is pretty much right above me. Actually, let's turn the camera around, and I'll show you guys. So I don't know how that came out, but I'll see it in post. So you definitely want to take Rocksteady off, and I don't know if you want to use ND filters then if you're relying on the Rocksteady. But if you're trying to get some motion blur for a more cinematic look, or just trying to do anything that requires you to show some motion, then it might be a good type of scenario. I gotta take, alright, filters back off because now we're inside and there's no more sun. But like I was saying, if you want to get like a more cinematic look, then you might want to use an ND filter. You can capture motion blur and maybe get some cool effects into your videos. Let's talk about the filters. Welcome back to Ames Vlogs It. My name is Amy Sung, and please connect with me on Instagram. I never know what side it's on. And if you don't mind hitting the subscribe button up here, it really helps my channel out. And if you're brand new to the channel, thank you all for joining. And today we're talking about the DJI Action 2 along with some filters. So these filters are from Freewell and they're magnetic. The first thing I want to mention is these filters do not attach to the camera if you have the magnetic heat protective case on. It doesn't attach, well, it actually attaches on the front, huh? Okay, I stand corrected. But I don't know how well that'll work. But if you put it on the camera and then you try to put it into the case, it just doesn't fit. Overall, the build quality on these filters is pretty amazing. The magnet isn't super strong, but it's definitely strong enough to hold it in place. And I don't think it's going to come off unless you actually drop it or hit it at the right angle. I went with the Bright Day Pack because it comes with the CPL filter built right on the front, and you just spin it. And that reduces reflections or glares, so you can shoot through maybe a window or in water, and it works pretty well. But the main difference between the Bright Day Pack and the standard pack is the Bright Day Pack comes with the CPL filters on them already, and it comes with an extra ND64 filter, where the standard Day Pack comes with the A1632 and then a CPL filter separate. So it's really up to you what you're going to be using it for. And they only fit on the camera in one specific direction. And in the corners here, you see, there's a hole for the microphone and the LED light. And that's the way it fits on. So if you try to put it on another way, it actually, the magnets are opposite polarizing. So you'll know whether you have it on correctly or not. So some of my test footage shows the difference between having a filter on and not having one on, and then having the different ones on. So you guys tell me in the comments down below, which do you think looks best? Obviously, it's not going to be without the filter because that looks horrible. The highlights are way blown out. Looks way overexposed. And the 8 looked good. I haven't actually put it in post yet, so I'm going to do that right after this part of the video and take a look for myself. But I think the 8 looks pretty good. And then the 16 might have looked really well as well. But I don't think the 32 and 64 I'll ever really use. I don't think you're ever going to use it unless you're like out maybe on, I don't know, a mountain full of snow, maybe snowboarding or skiing. I can see that being really the only time that you're going to want to use one of those filters. It just, it's super, super sunny and bright out today here in New York, and I think it was just way too dark for either of those. But the ND1000, I might actually consider getting that one, because that one you can actually do some pretty cool photography, long exposure shots with. So that is probably going to be next on the list. But if you're, one last thing is, if you're going to be using these ND filters, you want to make sure that you actually go into your Action 2 camera and put it into Pro mode and manually adjust the shutter speed and the ISO. Just set your ISO to like 100 maybe, and your shutter speed should follow the 180-degree rule, where if you're shooting in 30 frames per second, set your shutter speed to 1/60, 24 frames per second, 1/25, so on and so forth. And then if you're, say, moving, you're gonna see the motion blur. You're gonna see that that there's speed happening. Rocksteady obviously has to be turned off as well, or else you kind of get like a jittery movement and it's not natural looking. Otherwise, I think these filters are pretty great. I'm pretty bummed that you can't use it inside of the heat protective case, because one of the major issues with this camera is it overheats very, very quickly. Especially if it's hot out. It's been really hot here in New York, and I've had problems with it. But that's really my only complaint about this camera. Otherwise, it is awesome. Tiny, small, discreet, and very portable. But thanks for joining me today on this beautiful summer day. And hit that subscribe button. Follow me on Instagram. And I'll talk to you guys soon.